Hello everybody out there and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. And if you're watching this on the day we release it, it's coming out on the weekend again. Guys, we have 2 weeks left to this month. And our goal by the end of May is to make our reviews either to get them back to Monday mornings or Tuesday mornings. One or the other. And hopefully mostly likely Monday mornings, because Tuesday mornings usually is when Anime Weekly goes up. So it would be hell for me to do an Anime Weekly followed by a Dark Avenger comic book review. And we're going to be pushing. That's why this week you're going to notice we're going to be rushing through the books. That's because we're going to get through this review quickly and try to get into this past Wednesday's books as soon as possible and get the review out to you guys as soon as possible. Our goal for this week is Wednesday. So by the last week of May, we'll be back to an earlier, either Monday, Tuesday schedule.
If possible.
If possible. If possible. And we're back here in the kitchen, which is great. Yep. And I just wanted to clarify something because somebody did mention it to me. I mentioned casual reads, and somebody asked me what I meant by casual reads. Because certain books I dropped from my review pile and put into my casual read pile. Certain books I find more enjoyment in reading them at a slower pace. For example, Inhumans, both series. Actually, more uncanny. I believe it's uncanny than new. But Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, Mighty Thor are all books I read on a casual basis. I read them slower. Only one issue a month comes out for most, so I can read them at a very casual pace until the next issue comes out. And I find that I enjoy those series better in that way than reading them super quick, because then I'm not enjoying them as much, or I'm not feeling what other people are feeling, like with Miss Marvel, for example. I wasn't understanding what people were feeling about Miss Marvel until I actually sat down and read the book at my own pace. And the reason I'm making mention of that is because one of the books this week that I will be reviewing is moving into my casual read pile, because I think I will enjoy it a lot more as a casual read than a reviewing read. And another book I'm dropping, but we have to make cuts because you guys know DC Rebirth's coming, and we're going to be trying out all the issue 1 through 3s, and then the cuts for DC begin. Yep. And I've already got my suspicions on books that I'm probably going to be dropping, and I don't think we're keeping all of them. It would be really cool, interesting if we actually did keep all the books.
And the first, too.
It would be a first. But I doubt it, because there are certain titles I know I'm not going to be interested in. I know he's not going to be interested in. If we're not both interested in it, then it's not going to be bought. So 2-to-1, books will be turned digital. We will be going to a digital format for certain books, and then other books will probably just fall off.
And don't forget, we are moving to DCBS starting of the DC Rebirth. So
DC Rebirth, we're starting with DCBS, that's right, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
But we'll get into the books now that came out this week, which was the week of May 11, 2016. But these two books that both me and Chris are going to review first
did not come out this week.
They were from Argo Comics, and you can check out more details on argocomics.com. That is argocomics.com. So let's start.
And next week,
next
week, just to promote, we do have another 5 or 6 issue series that I got about a month ago, and I feel really bad that it took us so long to get to read it. But Michael and I are going to be reviewing a series that was shared with us next week. We're going to do the first 2 issues next week. We're going to do the last 3 issues or the next 2 issues the following week. And if it's 6 issues, I don't remember the number. I believe it was 5 issues. But if it's 5 issues, we'll do 3 and we'll be done. Or we'll do the next 2, and then the following week we'll conclude it with the last 2. I believe it was... I could be wrong completely. I know that it's a series, though, and we're going to enjoy reviewing it. Let's put it that way. So we have something special for you guys starting next week as far as outside of what's been released for the week of.
But until then, let's review this book from our great friend Dan. And that is first, Argo 5, issue number 21.
Femstars debut. And when Dan said the Femstars are like Desperate Housewives, holy crap, man, he was right. So, Argo 5 is fighting Ahmet Khans. I probably said that name wrong. Very interesting names you put in your villains, Dan, but I like that. Very unique. And what happens is the fight ends up crashing a bridal party where the Femstars are. And the Femstars start fighting Ahmet Khans. And then after Ahmet Khan, I'm not going to say how he's defeated or vanquished or if he's defeated or anything, but then they start bickering amongst each other. And Argo 5 is just standing there like, And I just enjoyed it. It was a really fun read. I love the back and forth between the characters. Also in the back of the book, if you want a rundown of the 5 characters, there's a rundown. There's great pinups. Artwork is really done well. Blue Dynamo. Blue Dynamo gets a happy end. I don't want to say a happy ending like a Giggity Goo ending like you say, but he got a happy ending where he gets a date out of the whole situation, which I think is really cool because I like Blue Dynamo and I like that I like how that went down. So all in all, again, love Argo 5, and I love how Dan's throwing new characters in, new groups in, and hopefully we'll get a Femstar either book or another Femstar guest appearance, maybe another Argo anthology, Argo Comics anthology or something, but I would like to see the Femstars again outside of Argo 5, just to see, a book about them. If Dan ever does it, I definitely will be interested in reading that, because I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy this book. 5 out of 5. If you are not checking out Argo 5, you guys are missing out. Argo 5, since DC did 52 and the change with the Justice League, Argo 5 has been like the team that I've enjoyed reading since issue 0. Up to current day, Argo 5 embodies everything a superhero team should be, and you guys should definitely check it out. It's got a lot of really great stuff in it, and great artwork.
And my book from Dan is Sorority of Power issue number 10.
Hey, you made a guest appearance in there, didn't you?
I certainly did make a guest appearance, but first, there was also another guest appearance from Argo 5, which was Law & Order, who makes an appearance in this comic book, and she's at this, assembly where she's talking about superheroes, and then these other groups called the Mystic Arts and Witchcrafts, saying she don't know anything, like they were jealous of them. So what they do is that they're making this certain type of lemonade. Well, they're saying what the plan is, but there's this girl that does all these powers. So they make the lemonades for the Sorority of Power, and what the lemonade does is that it makes the ice turn red and turn them against each other. So there's a whole big fight going on, and the one where I make the appearance in, one of the people who had the powers was saying, "Oh, Cybersuit, you think you're so tough with all your clothes on? Well, how about this?" Boom! She takes her clothes are all
and
naked.
Your face goes whoop out
of nowhere, and I go giggity goo with half of the My Little Pony and pink wings.
Pink wings.
I am not a fan of My Little Pony, but I like the picture. Giggity goo. Okay,
if that doesn't get you to buy this book.
Hey, twice I was in the book. I feel really honored about that.
If that doesn't get you to buy the book, I don't know.
Alright, but can I finish, please? Okay. So there is a cure to get rid of this. And get ready for this. The only way to break out of this power...
to get the giggity goo.
No. It's actually Law and Order's pepper spray. I am not kidding you. Her pepper spray gets them all into regular heroes, and then that's how the book ends. And then Law and Order says, "Oh, you have a $200 fine. If you're gonna play, you gotta pay." And the pinup sections also were awesome, and the artwork was also great. And
Bill Mouse does great artwork.
Yep, and I have to say, this definitely deserves 5 giggity goo stars. It does. I mean, not just because I'm in the book. It's just so awesome.
I wish I could get that.
Actually, I think I have it on my phone.
No. I mean, I wish I could get that and edit that into the...
Oh. Well, you can check it out on my Facebook and on Dan's Facebook. It's there. You can just check it out. But, yeah. So, let's go into now the indie companies, starting with Archie, all new Archie, I should say. Issue number 8.
I enjoyed this issue. So Veronica's dad hates Archie so much he gives Archie's dad a job that's going to take them away from Riverdale for an entire year. And the father's so happy he gets to go away. It's never gonna, no snow, no nothing. Ronnie and him break up for a time because she wants to cool her father off. So Archie's upset and he sees more of Betty with Ahmed, and he's not happy about that either. It's bugging him. You can tell deep down it's bugging him. And Jughead's upset because his friend's leaving and their friendship's gonna break up. And finally, Archie just snaps and goes to Veronica's dad and says, "You know what? I know you're doing this. Fine, you win." And the reason why he doesn't tell his father how he feels is because his father's so happy, and the father's honestly doing it for Archie because he didn't think he'd have money for Archie to go to college. And what happens is Archie tells Veronica's dad off and says, "You know what? My dad always said to stand up to bullies, and I know, and the reason you're taking advantage of my dad because I know he's doing this for me, and it's because I love my dad that I'm just gonna say you win and I'm gonna walk away. I wanted to make sure you heard, that I just wanted to tell you off before I left." And it turns out the father was in the mansion and heard that. So in the end, they aren't going,
Wow.
and the father actually is allowing Veronica to see Archie as long as Archie stays far away from the father's sight. My question is, who do you think Archie belongs with? I honestly think him and Betty work better, but you know what? There are books where he's married to Betty, and then there's books where he's married to Veronica. The writers never definitively chose somebody for Archie. So personally, I'm on the Betty team, but I know a lot of people are on the Veronica team. But either way, either girl, I'm just really happy that, this book was good.
Or maybe one day it could be both.
You can skip that one.
Oh, that one? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But actually, you could mention it. Assassin's Creed. I'm
Issue
moving
number 8.
to a casual read because I'm not digging it, reading it super fast. Maybe at a slower pace, I'll enjoy it more. That's one of the 2 books that I'm moving to. Yes, a more casual read. Grizzly Shark Returns, issue number 2. Man, you just got to read this book to enjoy it. The sharks return. It turns out there wasn't just one shark. There's a bunch of them. And they're going after these 2 guys from the last issue. The guy that has his whole bottom half missing. And I love how he puts like this little fake pants with shoes and everything to make it look like he's a midget, but he's really not. Oh man, it was so funny and so good. But the next issue is gonna have sea bears
Ooh, yeah.
versus grizzly sharks. That's gonna be interesting, and I think that's
That
gonna be
is.
the last issue. I'm enjoying it. It's more of a guilty pleasure more than anything else, but it's bloody, it's gory, and yeah, not for kids.
And it's Morphin time. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, issue number 3.
Tommy finally comes clean about what's going on, that he's been having hallucinations ever since being freed from Rita's control. Rita also says just because he's free from my control doesn't mean that he's completely free. So I have a feeling that this story arc is going to be a way to figure out how to completely free Tommy from Rita's influence completely. And he has this hallucination about the Dragon Zord attacking the command center, and it turns out it was like this huge hallucination. And then we actually get to see the Power Rangers, and like the way they look with their energy, their power, their power something. I forgot what it was. Power energy, and all the Rangers basically they have a glow to them, an internal light for their coins and their Ranger color. But Tommy's is out of control, like lightning and stuff coming out. So he has a massive amount of power, and it's all because it's connected to Rita somehow. And now the team is second guessing Tommy because of this. You've got Rita, who now we find out what that crystal was for. It was to make a makeshift dragon dagger in order to control the Dragon Zord. And Scorpina is controlling the Dragon Zord now. Tommy is out of commission for the time being, and the Dragon Zord is about to run wild on Angel Grove.
Oh.
How is this going to go? I don't know, but I like how Zach is kind of questioning Tommy still, even though later on, we all know on the TV series they become like best friends. They all become best friends, and I like that moment with Trini where she's talking about her dad, how she would love to be a doctor like her dad, and the backstory to it. This has a lot of there's a lot of building for the characters that we didn't see in the TV series that we are seeing in the comics. What scares me is Trini's talking about one day wanting to leave Angel Grove. I hope that this comic doesn't go the route where Zach, Jason, and Trini left, and Jason, Aisha, and Rocky join. I don't want to see that. I mean, I feel like with the comic we have enough. It's not people anymore. It's drawn. I would like to see that the Rangers stay together unless they're completely changing the team, which would be weird because this is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So Hopefully they won't do that. The most change I would like to see is maybe Tommy going from green to white, which the original Rangers were there for that.
They were there for that.
All 6 original Rangers were there for that. So I can live with that change. But other than that, I don't. I hope they don't go the route of bringing in the next 3 Rangers. I'd like to see the original 6. That's just my feelings.
Alright, so...
Great book, though, and the backstory was really fun as well with Bolt and Skull.
Alright, so we're getting to my books now, starting with 4001 AD of the Exo Manowar. I believe this is a one-shot?
Yeah.
Well, it says number 1, so I put number 1.
I believe it's a one-shot.
But yeah, but basically, it's not Arak that's in the Manowar suit. It's actually this different person, and he's going on like a certain mission, and then things get a little bit hectic because you know about the whole New Japan and all that other stuff that's going on. So he tries to do all these missions and stuff like that, and like I said, things just don't work out for him in the end. Like I forgot who came to him that was saying that you know, this cannot work out, you know, like all of what's going on. You know, you feel bad for the character because it's not really just because of the suit he wore, it's just because of what he was trying to do to improve New Japan, and it just did not work out the way he wanted to. And that's really sad, but great book though nonetheless. But if you're expecting Arak, it's not in the book, but I do recommend you read it if you've been reading 4001 AD. Also from Valiant, Ninjak issue number 15. Now this I could form in like a couple of sentences.
You got it, I see it.
Yeah. Ninjak is going to see a Russian mafia named Volt. Now, the woman you saw on the cover, her name...
I see the next comic.
Yeah. Her name is Roku. And Roku is actually the one that makes an appearance towards the middle of the book and actually sort of kills Volt. Because Ninjak wanted to... Because, well, not kill, like, sort of, because... oh, I'm sorry, no, she didn't kill him like we thought that she did. But Volt was actually telling him the story that she's been looking for him, and there was this pen, and when it affected his eyes, and when he fell out the window on top of a bus. Next is to be concluded. So, I mean, we all know Ninjak's probably not dead. I mean, I hope not, but
no, it's gonna.
It was
probably the conclusion to the story arc,
and I hope it's gonna be Ninjak versus Roku, because that'll be something. This book just keeps getting boring. Big Trouble in Little China, issue number 24.
It's in Big Trouble.
I do not know what the hell I was reading in this book. All it keeps talking about is Lo Pan. We get it. 3 times. You've already said that you took over the... Wow, I can't remember his name.
Underworld?
No, the guy, Jack. We know that. You said it 3 times, and the sidekick's getting a little bit annoying sometimes. And he wants to know more about Egg's past because of all this stuff that's affecting him for the future. This whole time going around thing, I mean, we're back in his time, in the 80s, and the sidekick that's with him and all that, but this is so confusing. I do not know what else more to do with this book. I don't even understand why they changed the artwork either. It's just, I don't know. I'm 50-50 of probably dropping it, but
okay.
We'll have to see what happens. Dejah Thoris, issue number 4. Now, we saw in the last issue that there was this new person who came into the book that's going to play this major character. I couldn't remember what her name was, but basically she wants Dejah Thoris and this other guy was with her want to be slaves. And we know Dejah Thoris isn't going to, you know, bow down to anyone, so she tries to tell the other, the aliens, like, why do they just, like, flew out of my head. And she's, like, saying, like, we must fight together. If we go together, we can take her down, all that, because she has this stone that gets their mind compelled to listen to her and everything. Yeah, I got it.
No, I didn't.
Oh, so they have a little bit of a fight scene, and then there was, like, a whole other thing that happens, and also John Carter's trying to save her as well. And, this other guy is trying to make a speech about the new era that's coming into where John Carter's, like, no longer there and stuff, so they're going to get a rude awakening if John Carter and Dejah Thoris don't settle this, because that's big trouble. And not in Little China, just Big Trouble in this book. Grimm Tales of Terror, Volume 2, Issue number 8. This book was a little bit okay. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. It was like a little okay. It's like these two guys who have these student loans, and they go to this place in oh god, where was it? Puerto Rico, I think it was. It was somewhere in the Mexican-Spanish borders. And they go to this guy that could grant wishes, but the only way he'll grant the wish is if they find a red-faced monkey, bring the poor to him, and then they have the power of whatever they want. So one of them that made the wish of making the third sacrifice, his friend, and I think his name was Mike or John or something, he was the third sacrifice that he could get anything his life wanted. And then when he meets a girl in the end of the issue, all I have to say is, girl, just turn around and run, because he is bad news. But it was a really awesome book. I can't wait to read the next issue. I think the next one's about the Boogeyman.
Ooh, interesting.
So that's very interesting. And now, let's get into some big 2 books, starting with yours.
Green Lantern Corps, Edge of Oblivion, issue number
5.
Guy Gardner is finally snapped out of whatever trance he's been put into, and we get the backstory on the Dark Knights. That's right. The tall beings are called the Dark Knights. Knights.
We know.
And I'm making you. I'm just saying.
All right, but I'm just saying.
So now Guy Gardner makes up the plan, because John is under their control, and so are the other Green Lanterns. And we find out that there are other Green Lanterns coming, but there's one lantern that can be fixed or can be broke. The hole can be broken easier, and they put their plan into action. Guy Gardner takes the fight to the Dark Knights, the Black Knights, and it turns out we get a little bit of a backstory with him and his father, which we've seen a million times, but there's a reason for it. He likes to piss the father off so that the father will take it out on him instead of his mother when he's a kid. So he wanted to piss the Black Knights off so they take it out on him. So while they're taking it out on him, they couldn't realize somebody else was being converted back, and that somebody else was Mogo. Mogo attacks the planet that they've come with, that's been coming with them, and it turns out the planet is a monster.
A monster?
It's not like Mogo. It's an actual devouring monster. And they want to survive the old universe so that they have more people to eat or devour in the new universe. Next issue, let's see how the Green Lantern Corps is going to survive against said Black Knights. And the good news is, I believe we're not getting the Green Lantern Corps book until July. So technically, we can have another month's worth of Green Lantern Edge of Oblivion.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. Really good book.
Alright, Harley Quinn and the Gang of Harleys, issue number 2.
This is going to a casual read. I don't feel like it's something that I'm enjoying it. We got a little bit more about her gang. Still looking for her. We see little individual moments. Harley's sin is really sexual with Harley Quinn in this book. There were some really... For me as a reader, I felt dirty looking at certain scenes, but that's what Harley Quinn is. We all know that.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm just going to say in the end it looks like the gang is destroyed, but we all know they're not, because then the book would be over. So, we'll see if I give it an honorable mention at least in the next review, or it might move to a casual read.
All new, all different Avengers, issue number 9.
Introducing Wasp, the daughter of Hank Pym, but not, I forgot the original Wasp. That's her stepdaughter. And she gives them, at first, Jarvis doesn't believe her. He literally attacks her, and then when she says who she is, Jarvis kind of backs up a bit, and it's kind of like the light switch. And I'm like, and he's like a focal point at the beginning of the book, and then Vision's still getting screwed up because of what happened with Zemo, and she ends up saving Vision, and of course this is connected to the Free Comic Book Day book, which we didn't end up getting. The Civil War book, which I'm upset about. Hopefully we'll find it digitally, but we didn't get it for Free Comic Book Day. We did get one of the Marvel books that we wanted for Free Comic Book Day, and that'll be in this week's haul. But again, we don't get the full backstory on what she did with Vision, inside of Vision, because we didn't get the Free Comic Book Day book. But in the end, it looks like she's going to be meshing with the All New, All Different Avengers. And it turns out that the next issue of All New, All Different Avengers is following the events that happened in Nova last week, where Nova wanted to leave Earth, but Iron Man said, no, wait, let us help you. So obviously All New, All Different Avengers before Civil War are going to help, or try to help Sam. So the next issue, if you're not reading Nova, you're going to be a little bit in the dark because, or you might not be, because we all know what Sam's been doing since his first issue.
Alright. All New X-Men, issue number 9.
This was a boring book.
Because it's Age of Apocalypse, and
I'm telling you guys the truth. This Age of Apocalypse is really making me second guess all of my X-Men.
Even when Uncanny X-Men, it's just boring.
It's something that I'm not interested in. I forgot his name. Evan ends up going back in time. That mask that Doctor Strange gave Beast, of course, played into it. And him and Beast get sent back in time, and they meet young Apocalypse. And see, this is what I mean. They don't know what they're doing with the X-Men anymore. Even Extraordinary X-Men, I'm 50-50 with. I'm going to be holding on to this for a little bit longer. I'm going to be holding on to Extraordinary a little bit longer. But if the story starts to waver me too much, either it'll go to a casual read or it's going to be dropped completely. It's just, I'm not... X-Men have gone down a path and they've gone so deep down this path that I don't think they know where they're going anymore with Marvel knows where they're going with the X-Men anymore, because they've changed it and made it so different that now it's like it's not the X-Men. That's why X-Men 92 is out. That's definitely why, because X-Men haven't felt like X-Men ever since Schism. And to be honest, unless it gets some type of a reboot, I don't feel like Mutants or X-Men are ever going to feel the same again in the Marvel Universe, and that's a real bad sin, because X-Men played a huge role in the Marvel Universe. And it's obvious that Inhumans aren't taking their place because nobody gives a crap about the Inhuman books. So Marvel, I think it's time to possibly consider some type of a soft reboot for the X-Men. You did it for Spider-Man and for all the wrong reasons. Maybe you could do it for the X-Men for all of the right reasons, because I think they need it. My advice, take it or leave it. I'm just a reader and a reviewer.
Black Panther, issue number 2.
This is the other book that's going into my casual read. I am interested. I like the book enough to say I don't want to drop it, but at the same time, the book follows a lot about T'Challa being the king and how he screwed up and how his sister took over and things got bad. And there's this group of people in Wakanda that are enslaving these girls who are freed by those 2 other girls from issue 1 that are lovers. And T'Challa is trying to fight this woman who's turning his people against him. And it's interesting. I want to continue reading it, but at the same time, I don't want to have to crunch it in between all of the other books. I want to give it the time it needs in order to read it and truly enjoy it. So I believe Black Panther will fit in perfectly with Miss Marvel, Mighty Thor, and Moon Knight on my Marvel casual read list. And when people ask, I always recommend Miss Marvel. Mighty Thor has gone on an interesting path of different artwork and weirdness lately, but Black Panther is another book I could recommend without, saying, I could recommend it because it's good. It's just there are moments with it that it needs long reading. It needs time to read.
Guardians of Infinity, issue number 6.
Last part to the first story arc, and last part for me. I'm done. It was a nice idea to have another Guardian story, but I couldn't get into this book. I was into it the first issue. We are at this issue now, and I don't feel like I need to read the next story arc. I'm not interested in it anymore.
Guardians of the Galaxy, issue number 8.
Mirror opposite. This book focuses on Venom and Groot. And they end up... we find out what the big plan was finally for the Guardians, and it was to free the people on this planet. And what happens is, though, Venom and Groot are dropped on the Kree part of the prison, and we all know that Flash doesn't like the Kree because of what happened with the Kree during... I forgot what it was called, Secret Invasion, and he kind of has an issue with saving them, an issue with trusting them, an issue with being there, and he's very upset that everybody knew that's where he was going and nobody gave him the warning or the heads up. And I like how he makes fun of Groot, saying, I still can't understand him, and he's saying, I am Groot. All I hear is, I am Groot, I am Groot. And Rocket's like, well, you gotta listen to the tones and the colors in the voice. And I'm laughing, but you know what? They're having a conversation by the end of the book. So apparently there is something to his I am Groots that people understand. And reluctantly, I guess Flash is going to be saving the Kree.
I am Groot.
We'll have to wait and find out. But this was interesting. But this book, which is interesting because he also meets up with a Kree, which is Venom Space Knight, issue number
7.
It turns out that Venom is no longer pure again. That he's still got imperfections. And what the Clicktar want to do is basically return him to the cosmos. Meaning, not destroy him, but I know it basically means that Flash won't be Venom, or Venom won't exist anymore. And they want to give Flash a new Clicktar, however you pronounce it, in exchange for Venom. They want Venom because he's an impurity and he needs to be released back to the cosmos. There's just certain corruptions in Venom that, even though he's been purified, that can't be undone. And Flash isn't willing to give up his friend. Him and Venom split, and so does the other girl and her Clicktar while they're discussing. Huge fight breaks out between Venom and the other Clicktar, and Flash and this woman whose name I forget, because these are characters we only saw once or twice. And he doesn't want to give up Venom, but Venom ends up losing it, and he ends up running away. And it looks like Venom's kind of... yeah, he's definitely lost it. The symbiote, again, is impure, and you could see that Venom is not exactly all there. So it's going to be interesting to see where the next issue of Venom Space Knight goes. Will Flash get Venom back? Will he get another Clicktar? Will Venom go to Earth and try to find Eddie Brock? There's a lot of possibilities that, this book is left with.
Alright. Web Warriors, issue number 7.
This is a fun read as well. Something that might at some point go into my casual read pile, but for right now it's not. It turns out there's Spider-Ham 2099 that shows up in the Punk Spider-Man universe. And apparently there's a tear between the two universes, so the Spider-Men and women end up, going there to figure out what the tear is. You got Spider-Ham fighting Duck Doom, or Dr. Doom, or whatever. And then it ends with the gigantic robots, the one where that inspired Power Rangers, where Spider-Man was in that gigantic robot fighting Doc Ock's gigantic robot. I love how everything all of a sudden is against Doc Ock. But it's to be continued. I'm going to finish the story arc out before I determine whether I'm going to put Web Warriors on my casual read list or not. But I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I will say that.
Alright, now it's my turn. Red Hood Arsenal, issue number 12. And this is not the last issue, actually.
Good.
There is actually... I think there's one more issue after this one. But really...
I think the books that are coming out in July, actually, they're trying to push one more issue.
Yeah. But what it's focusing on is the 3 people. Jason Todd, Red Hood, Arsenal, Roy Harper, and Joker's daughter, which I can't remember her real name. So it starts off with Roy Harper, Arsenal, who he's like all beat up because of those gangs that he was fighting with in the last issue, and he's beaten up pretty badly. And Jason Todd is trying to find Arsenal because, like, I don't know if Arsenal thinks that Jason Todd cares for him, but he's just looking for him, so he goes to Joker's daughter, and she turns out to be a wackatoo again. You didn't see that coming. You know, Leopard never changed its spots. And then that happens, and then it's really just him finding Arsenal. That's what the whole issue is. But it was a really... I like the point of views that they had in the book. It was really an amazing read, and definitely something to read there. This, however, unfortunately, is the last issue. Starfire, issue number 12.
Well, she's going to be in Teen Titans in June, I believe. That's why.
I thought you said Titans. Or was it
Teen Titans.
Teen
Titans
Titans?
ends next.
Oh, right, yeah. But in Starfire, it's never easy to say goodbye. Even the sheriff, Martinez, I think her name was. Like, in the beginning, like, she was like a little like, you know, because she was drinking and everything, but she never realized how important Starfire was to her and how she was to the family and everything. And, you know, And even Atlee, when she had to go back to her world, and then when they had to say goodbye to each other, because Starfire, she wanted to go back to her planet to, you know, finish her duties there, because she only could stay on Earth for a short amount of time. But I want to explain more, but I really want you guys to read the book. It is like really just, what an ending. That's all I have to say. And an ending like that was just wow. Along with a little pink pet that was with her. Whatever it was called. Swamp Thing issue number 5. I'm telling you, it gets better and better how now with Matt Cable as the Swamp Thing and Alec Holland trying to find a way to become Swamp Thing. First of all, Matt Cable Swamp Thing powers are getting to his head so much that he's making a whole broadcast about either show me respect or there will be consequences. And that he has the power of the minds of everything, so that's really something. So Alec Holland, after meeting a parliament of trees, he meets up with Fam Stranger. Now Fam Stranger sends him to this place, it was in Just League Dark and other things, I can't remember the name. Nunson, whatever. That place could help him with the Hand of Fatima, even though you can't go back to that. And then he meets up with Deadman for a little while, which then leads him into meeting the Spectre of Jim Cargan. Then he might know of a way to probably break the spell or this Hand of Fatima to switch him back to Swamp Thing Alec Holland. We don't know. But that's going to be continued in the next issue. So it was a really great read. But Matt Cable, worse and worse it gets for him. Darth Vader issue number 20 starts a new story arc. I think there's like 5 more issues until I heard it was canceled. Issue 25. What it's really showing is that the Emperor is trying to downplay Darth Vader. And Darth Vader wants to keep proving to him that he is superior.
I didn't hear about Darth Vader being canceled, but okay.
Yeah, by issue 25.
Okay.
I mean, that's why I heard as a rumor, maybe. And that's what really this whole book is about. The rest afterwards is just him trying to look for that doctor or Alpha, whatever. She's in Star Wars. So I don't know if they're going to cross over with each other again.
Most likely.
But
at the end of Darth Vader.
I don't know. It's just like, forget the doctor, move on. And there was also another story of 000 and Beatty. But that was just like a little like, I don't know if they just put it in there because the story was a little bit short because Darth Vader's getting boring. But I don't know. This issue, I'm just going to weigh it out and see if it's till 25. Deadpool issue number 11. Deadpool's still meeting up with Sabretooth, and we find more and more stuff about, about his family, and so much that's been going on. And Fam Strange actually makes an appearance in this book that tries to help out Deadpool with his... No, that's it. After that. With his past. It's just trying to find out if he killed his parents or if he didn't and why. And his friend, what was his name? Sitar. He tries to get in communications with him, going into Sabretooth, like saying, I know what happened, because remember that whole vision thing, I saw you kill your parents, all that. You have to read the story just to figure out what's going on and how it came to that point. But really, it was an okay read. And finally, until we get into the physical books, Silk issue number 8. It's still following the Spider-Woman series, and it really focuses a little bit on Silk, but we get more information about Spider-Gwen a little bit more. It's just really focusing on them because Spider-Woman's not going to be in the issue until the next issue. And then we concluded, I believe, after that with the final conclusion to Omega, I believe. And then that's going to be the whole turnaround, But it's really focusing now on Silk and Spider-Gwen. And Silk, for her side, is just about what's going on with her past and her future. And Spider-Gwen is trying to help her out with that. And they're just not getting along with each other. It's just getting worse and worse, their whole relationship. And not Silk, Black Cat makes an appearance, and Silk wants to try to prove her loyalty to Black Cat, that she belongs, and it's a whole big turnaround. With Black Cat, it's always never good. Till next time. In the Spider-Man issue. Sonic the Hedgehog issue number 281. This has 2 stories, and it still is going with the Gaia powers of that. I just want to show some artwork to this book. In the first story, we meet up with Dulcie the Dragon, and she introduced her to her team, who is sort of ready to fight, with all of what's going on. And we get her backstory. And what we get out of this is the pterodactyl. And that pterodactyl is this one right here. And the golden pterodactyl might help them with this Gaia stuff and all that. And then the second story is Tails and Bunny, where they try to help this guy whose house has been washed out to sea. And then we get his family members who try to help him out. And we have Bunny who helps him out too with how she got her robotic arms. And how she was accepted by Tails and Ben. And it just helps him get through, like saying, okay, we're going to build this house. And they give him the Gaia key to bring it back to Sonic. And it looks like Knuckles and Mighty are going to be teaming up for the next issue when they reunite. So, all in all, I really am enjoying reading this Sonic book. And it relates to both stories, but the second story is very touching. And the first story a little bit too, but definitely a must read. And, yeah.
Grimm Fairy Tales 122, Bloody Bones tries to enlist a group of villains to go up against Sela and the students of Arcane Acre, and basically to put the world, basically to rule the world. We get a little bit with Belinda and her son again, a little backstory, a little here and there. But Bloody Bones, like I said, he's trying to enlist people. Most of them don't, choose. And it was interesting to see the Being again. The Being's actually there just to tell him that he wants to stop him. He wants to redeem himself for what he did in issues 1 through 100, or not 1 through 100, in issue 100 where, Sela ended up defeating him. But in the end, it turns out 2 people out of the group are interested in joining Bloody Bones. The students try to escape Arcane Acre. It turns out that doesn't work. However, Bloody Bones makes his move, and Violet makes her return. And in the end, it looks like it's going to be up to the students to get back together with Lance and Sky and finish Bloody Bones once and for all.
Ooh, there's a
also this month, Robin Hood special.
Wow, I'll be looking forward to that.
So,
wait, is that Patrick Shan's last one?
Yep, Patrick Shan's last one with Larry Watts doing the art. And it's interesting because it's actually not on this list, which is what I was looking for before. It does not show up.
It did say it was this month, so I'll be definitely getting that.
Definitely.
Yeah, if we're going to get a physical copy, I'll definitely save that and bring it to New York Comic Con.
But I had to get this unique cover for it. I'm actually going to save this one and have Pat sign this one as well.
Okay.
So remember that, because I really enjoyed this.
Well, you have to leave all my comics to sign in the desktop.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 58. I enjoyed it. Leatherhead, we get his backstory complete. The stuff that he left out about Krang and how he was abused and why he's so messed up. And we get the fight between the Turtles and Leatherhead because he wants to go to Earth. And the Turtles are like, hell no, you're a psychopathic monster and we're not taking you. And then basically there's a stalemate and he has to be taken back to Earth, or else one of the turtles are going to die along with him because there's no oxygen on Planet Z, and oxygen tanks get broken, so to speak. So they make it to Earth, but Leatherhead can't take the city. He can't take the sound, the smells, and everything. The plan he had is falling apart. So he ends up running off, and he swears he'll be back, yada yada. He disappears, he leaves. And then the last page obviously is leading into the next story arc, which has Aliplex and Kitsune basically overpowering the Foot Clan and Master Splinter. What happened? I think in the next issue, issue 59, we're going to find out that side of the story before issue 60, we'll get to where we're at now at the end of issue 58. We're going to see Kitsune's side and Splinter's side of the story with 59. I'm not sure. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll get Aliplex. Yeah, because the next cover has Aliplex on it. So probably we'll see Aliplex and Splinter's side of what's gone on up to the last page of this issue. It'll get back to the last page of this issue, and then issue 60 will conclude it all. Speaking of conclusions, we've got the conclusion to Batman with an interesting one-shot story. It was a nice send-off. The artwork, however, was a bit sketchy, and it plays into a book that Bruce had since he was a kid. It goes back to his training, back to when he first became Batman, you know, his lead up to being Batman. We get some nice, you know, we get to see the Batmobile in the issue. And it really ends on a very nice note, and it says, to be continued in Batman Rebirth one shot, which then obviously leads into Batman issue 1.
And there's a checklist.
There is a checklist. Every week there is 4 to 5 books. May 25th, the one shot comes out, which was spoiled. Thank you very much, Bleeding Cool, and everybody, please avoid that site. I tell multiple people daily not to go there. But then the first week has 4 books. The second week has 5 books. The third week has 5 books, and the fourth and final week of June finally has 5 books. And then we go into July, which will probably most likely be much of the same. Plus, all of these books go into the issue number 2s or 3s. What have you. Very good stuff. The Action Comics issue number 52.
And I remember with the jeans and everything in the first issue when that came out.
This is the Final Days of Superman, part 6 of 8. Next issue is the penultimate issue. This issue, we finally see what I've been waiting to see for the past 2 months. The meeting of New 52 Superman and old DCU Superman.
Oh, please tell me that they fight each other.
The face-off between the two of them was spectacular. He's like, oh.
Wait, let me see that.
And he's like asking questions like, how is this possible? And he's like, it's a long story which we have no time for, Cal. So basically,
oh man,
the solar energy Superman takes New 52 Lois to a place where he wants to show her a secret. And he goes into Clark's house, old DCU Clark, and of course Jonathan's there. And he's like, you remember that secret I wanted to tell you? He basically reveals Superman of the old DCU to Lois Lane in the new DCU. And, of course, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman go to face off against the Solar Superman. The other Lois, old DCU Lois, shows up. The original Superman goes to save his wife and son first. And Solar Superman basically now is face to face with the Trinity, and he's like, I'm glad you guys are here, let's beat this phony, and you're here to put me back in the Justice League of America. That is going to be it. The next issue, I did look through it. I gotta admit, with the DC books lately, I've been looking through the last issues as we get them, and let's just say, Superman Wonder Woman looks very interesting, and that it all concludes with Superman 52 in 2 weeks. Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the final issue, and I was right, the Turtles didn't go because Batman gets overpowered by the mutant Arkham inmates, and the Turtles feel obligated to protect Batman, and they come back with Splinter. Batman gets his suit that they were pushing for the past couple issues because it was finished by Donatello instead of Alfred and Batman, and Batman fights Splinter. The Turtles fight Ra's al Ghul. It was an epic fight. Awesome artwork. Awesome artwork. And in the end, of course, the good guys win. And Casey, there is a way. They figure out a way. Casey goes back to the Turtles universe and finds a way to come back to pick the Turtles up and to bring them home before any of them end up dying in Batman's universe. And Raphael gives Batman his mask, and he says, you have a great family here. You lost family, but you have a great family now. And if you ever come to our neck of the woods, you have another family there. Aww. And the last page, obviously this is a DC comic book, so instead of getting the last pages with the Turtles this time, we get the last pages with Batman. And that was awesome. And I like how it says the end for now. So I think there might be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Batman crossover, maybe an IDW in the coming future. Who knows? But this was an excellent book, an excellent miniseries. If you missed out on this, get the trade paperback. It was an excellent, excellent read. It was so good. I loved it. Predictable. We all knew the good guys were going to win in the end, but man, how they did it and the artwork and the direction of it, everything was spot on with the characters and the story. Loved it. Definitely my top book of the week, along with TMNT 58. With that is it for this week's comic review. So as always, guys, links in the description below. Check them out in your spare time. Feel free to comment below your thoughts on any of the books we talked about here or books we didn't talk about. Also, look forward to the weekly comic book call. It's coming next. Some not announcements, but certain things will be mentioned in the news segment. Post live show, I found a few things out that you guys were talking about on the live show. So we might have a couple little minor updates to go along with the update video we did already. Thanks to what you guys and your feedback on Dark Avenger Live 76. If you want to see that, go check out Dark Avenger 76 Live 76. It's up now.
And your live show, that's every Friday
at 10:05 for now, Eastern Standard Time. We will be going back to a 9:05 schedule soon.
Yep.
But till then, take care, everybody. Keep reading, keep collecting, and we'll see you guys really soon in the next review.
Later, everybody.
Take care, everybody.